I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Public Safety, June 24th, 2024, 6 p.m. We will follow the agenda we have in front of us. May we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. You may be seated. Roll call, please.
Milton Reed.
Here.
Richard Tremzinski.
Here.
Thomas Davis.
Is there a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from June 10th, 2024?
Make a motion.
I'll second. Are there any questions?
I have none.
Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. There's no correspondence in front of us, and we will now turn things over to the Building Department. Attorney Smith.
Good morning, Mr. President and Board. We are here for several properties that have been noticed under the Unsafe Building Act, and just for the record, I do want to indicate to the Board that these properties all are considered to be unsafe under the Indiana statute. Additionally, they've been noticed. The property owner, anyone with a substantial property interest, has been noticed by certified mail, by regular mail, by publication, and by posting the notice at the property. And so we believe that a sufficient effort has been made for service and for notice under the Act, and that all persons either before you or that failed to appear have been properly notified. We'd ask the request for each of these properties, unless otherwise noted, would be to enter the order of demolition. For those that are present or have been present with Mr. Portalatin, who's also here today, the building commissioner, he has gone through the process with them and indicated and assured them that this is the first step in the process, and that if they do want to rehab their property, they have that opportunity to do so, as long as they stay in contact with him, go through the inspection procedure, and enter a proper rehabilitation agreement with the board.
Okay.
If we could, Mr. President, I would request that 4720 Ray Road be taken out of order so that Ms. Cawley can come up and be heard, and then she can be excused.
That is fine.
All right, so the first property is 4720 Ray Road. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. President, I do have the binder.
Thank you.
And this has photos.
Mm-hmm.
It has photos of the properties that are before you this evening. 4720 Ray Road Avenue is also known as the Nicosia Building, or kind of commonly known as that. It is a multi-story apartment complex that has been vacant for some time. There was I believe, a notice of no habitation posted on an emergency basis probably 2 years ago, James, 2 or 3 years ago, maybe? Okay. And so at this point, due to its unsafe nature, the building commissioner is requesting that the order be entered as presented and that the demolition order be affirmed.
Okay.
I don't know.
Would you like to speak towards that? If you can state your name and role in this particular case.
Hello, Commissioners. Tia Cawley, East Chicago Housing Authority, Executive Director of Housing Authority. 4720 has been vacant for approximately 2 years. We just do not have the funds to demo the building. I have spoken with HUD, and HUD said that they'd be willing to give up the land. So they're not asking for us not to tear down. We just need to do the proper paperwork so it can be torn down, but to inform you that the Housing Authority does not have the funds to tear it down.
Okay.
But the building is in deplorable condition. And we recently, well, within the last year and a half, 2 years ago, we moved 94 residents that was left in the building out. Since then, we have did a new development, which is on the Guthrie side to replace, which is the same 206 units replacement.
Okay. Okay, well, thanks for coming out, and we will be accepting the recommendation from the building department on this.
Thank you.
Thank you for appearing.
Mr. President, then I believe would you like to go with folks that are here next?
Yes, please.
Okay. I believe the next person then would be Ella Jones, who is 4937 Melville. She is the daughter of Estella Washington, who is the owner of the property. The property is a 2.5-story brick on the bottom, wood on the top. It's been vacant and boarded up in the front. It's in need of paint and other repairs. Ms. Jones has indicated to Mr. Portalatin that she does want to have an inspection done and is hoping to raise the money for the bond and for the repairs, and I believe she understands the process. Ms. Jones, did you want to speak at all? Yes. All right.
Hi, if you could just state your name and address, please.
Ella Jones, 3871 Madison Street in Gary, Indiana.
All right.
The building at 4937, both me and my mother share ownership to the building. My grandmother bought that building back in 1957 and have been in the family ever since. Prior to 2 years ago, my uncle passed away. He was living in the building. I kept the NIPSCO going as well as the water. I got a call back in January, squatters were in there, and they set the building on fire. So with that being said, I want to save the building because it's been in the family so long, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to come up with the bond and the money to fix the building. They have pictures of windows that need to be replaced, but I have had all the windows on the top of the building replaced. I just have to have the bottom of the windows replaced, and it's hard financially.
Sure, sure. Well, thanks for coming out, and I think as long as it's clear is that, if you do decide you would like to fix it up and keep it, the communication is very important and progress is very important. And, it has to go through the proper channels with the permitting and licensed contractors and things like that. But definitely this in essence is not the end step, but it does start the clock, if you will. So that communication is just going to be very important. If you decide that it just was too much, you can communicate that also, and we'll just kind of proceed with our normal process.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for your words.
Have a good day.
All right.
Okay, Mr. President, I did want to then just proceed with the other properties if I could. I'll mention if people were here. Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that
I believe he's with Ms. Jones, yeah.
okay?
Yep.
I got you. Okay, let's make sure no one else had a problem. All
Good,
right.
okay. So just going from the top, 909 West 145th Street, Miss Irene Moore, who is the widow of Mr. Oswaldo Moore Jr., actually resides at the premises. There was a fire next door that damaged her property. She has a State Farm fire claim that she's negotiating, so we're hopeful that that will end up being fixed up. But given the current state of affairs, we do want the order entered on that property, James, correct? Okay. 3927 Butternut, Miss Elvira P-E-L-A-E-Z, Pelaz, was here. And she also, this is a property, she lives on Gray Street in East Chicago. The property is in significant disrepair, crumbling staircase, rotted pieces of wood sticking out of the ground in front of the property, rotting wood underneath, peeled siding, and is otherwise in disrepair. We've gone over the property with her, and she understands the process. 3927, no one appeared, and given the condition of the property, we would request an order be entered on that. You do have the photos on all these, and I, for the record, have made a record of the condition of the property based upon the photos and the other information, the worksheet, and other things on each of these properties that Mr. Portalatin's provided. 3516 Grand Avenue, this is only the rear of the property. No one appeared, and we request the order be entered. Oh, they did? I didn't have it down. Morales? Was that who? They were here. Oh, I'm sorry. They had the yellow vests on. The Moraleses were here, and they've shown Mr. Portalatin some photographs and would like to continue working on that property. It's the rear of that property only at 3516 Grand. And just for the record, then, I should note that it's a two-story brick structure with scaffolding. There's a lot of, at the time of the inspection, there was a lot of junk around the property. The brick appears to be in disrepair, and there's some structural issues that concern the building department. Mr. and Mrs. Morales were both present. We would request the order be entered as presented and affirmed.
Okay.
3433-83 Guthrie. No one appears. This is a property that, wait, is that even? That is on the, yeah, that's on the list. These are properties owned by redevelopment. The city is, or redevelopment's well aware of the city's position on these properties, and we'd request the orders be entered. 3844 Guthrie. Miss Alexis Jordan was here. She's the secretary of Susanna Corporation. This is a one-story commercial structure on Guthrie that has been boarded up. She and her mother both were here, and they understand the process. They had some objection, I think, a little bit to the status of the property, but we explained that, you know, regardless of who is responsible for the damage, ultimately they as owners have to take care of it.
Sure.
And so they're aware of that. Mr. Bortolotti is going to be contacting the owner of the property soon, and that will be taken care of. We hope that they enter into a rehab agreement, but for now, we'd ask that the order be entered on the property. 4738 Melville, Miss Chandra Gary appeared. She actually resides there, and Mr. Bortolotti had an opportunity to speak with her. She's very concerned about the potential demolition of her property. However, Mr. Bortolotti did point out to her the significant problems with her property, including a hole in the roof. The roof is in significant disrepair, no gutters, and the windows appear to be in significant disrepair. So Mr. Bortolotti is going to make an inspection of the property. However, we are concerned about the continued habitation of that property. So we request the order be entered. 4937 Melville, you spoke with Ms. Jones. She was just here. 3821 Parish Avenue, no one appeared. However, this is a garage only. As you can see from the photos, the garage is in significant disrepair with rotting wood. It's boarded up. There's no roof structure, and this property should be demolished. We request the order be entered as to that garage. And finally, 514 Spring Street. Mr. Thomas Dunbar, the owner of the property, was present today. He has let us know that he is transferring the property, and we informed him of his obligation under the statute to let any subsequent owner know of that, of the demolition order. We let him know that the demolition order would be recommended to the board to be affirmed, and we would request that given the condition of the property is in significant disrepair, and we would request that it be entered. So that takes us to the end of the list. I'd request that all orders be affirmed as presented to the board.
Is there a motion to approve the new demolition report from the building department?
I make a motion.
I'll second. Are there any questions?
I have none.
Hearing no questions, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Mr. President, we next have some statuses, and I'm happy to report on 3 of the 4 of them. Work is continuing. And so if we could have James, would you like the August or September date? August 26th or September 23rd? You want to go 60? August? It's my anniversary, so I'll tell my wife why I'm late for dinner. It'd be your fault. All right. August, so we have 3 of 4 of these, and these 4731 Bering, 4854 Alexander, and 5024 Melville are all work continuing, and we would request the August 26th, 2024 date for a status.
Okay.
And 4814 Olcott, unfortunately, no work has been performed. We are going to move forward to bidding that property out. Is that right, James? All right. Yes. Okay. So that's the statuses.
Okay.
If we could have those status dates for those 3, 4731 Bering, 826, 4854 Alexander, 826, and 5024 Melville, 826. And that's that.
If we can entertain a motion for all status properties other than 4814 Alcott to be held until the August 26th meeting.
I make a motion.
I'll second. Are there any questions?
I have none.
Hearing no questions, we'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right.
We have a couple properties that we are asking the board to rescind its prior order to demolish, and that is for 3922 Elm and 4117 Euclid. This is because the properties have either been demolished already and have now been transferred or have been rehabbed. So I request those orders be rescinded.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the order to rescind and release an order to demolish for the 2 properties on our report from the building department?
I make a motion.
I'll second. Are there any questions? Hearing no questions, we'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And finally, Mr. President, we have some rehab agreements, 3 properties. These are all properties that are in significant repair. However, the owners do need a little more time, and oftentimes Mr. Bortolotti will grant that time because he is confident in their ability to continue to rehab the property versus having to demolish it. And so we would request that these rehab agreements two of which are amendments. The last two, 4731 Bering and 5024 Melville, are amendments. As you can see, that's why they're also in the status properties, so these need to be amended to give them a little more time. And then one is an initial rehab agreement for 130103 East Chicago Avenue.
Okay.
So I'd request that these be entered as presented.
Is there a motion to approve the rehab agreements as presented?
I make a motion.
I'll second. Are there any questions?
I have none.
Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. President and Board.
Thank you, Attorney Smith. There is no audience. Anyone for audience participation? Not. Our next meeting will be Monday, July 8th at 6 p.m., and we will take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.